Okay, let's start like before with our base template. Yes, a base.html. Use Emmet to create a scaffolding here, and then we can start filling this in with some Jinja. Okay, for block for the title, then say survey at the end, which is %, and block %, curly brace, and okay, so that's the block. And now we also want to add a link for the styles. So in here, we'll say curly brace. So we're going to say URL for static file name equals style.css. Okay, make sure you have all the tokens here, beginning braces, end brace. All this is inside of parentheses, and then quotation marks around read quotation marks. So here around styles, STLES and CSS. Okay, all right. So all the pages will use that style sheet once we create it. We want to create a header here, H1 tag, and then we're going to put a block of Jinja here as well, double braces, and then %, block header, %, just say survey application, and this will be in block here. So that's our header. We're going to have our main here, our main content, and we're going to have a content block. So curly braces, %, block, content, and block. So curly braces, %, and okay, footer at the back. Footer, p tag, copyright 2024 survey application. Okay, so that's our base, which we can save. And now we are going to create a survey template, which we reference right here and right here. This is the route that we're referencing, and this is the template. So let's do that. Create our survey HTML, and it's up here. So we're extending the base.html, and block here will be for the title, and the title is going to be survey and block. All right, and depending on what question we are sent, say block header is going to be question, and then session current question of 5, and we will end the block. Okay, all right, our main content here is going to be, and we are going to create a form. Action will be submitting to itself, so we're going to say for URL for survey. Okay, method reposts. All right, we're going to have some Jinja here based upon the session information. Say have session at current question equals 1. Label will be for answer, and it will be what is your favorite color. Okay, input will be text, ID will be answer, the name will be answer. This will be required. So they will be able to freely enter what their color is. Basically have to do this for the next 4 questions as well. So we're going to lf session.current question equals 2. Then we're going to do something similar here. So we're just going to copy these 2 lines, paste them down here, and just change them. So all I really need to do is change the question. So what is your favorite hobby? Will be this question. And make sure there are no errors. Hope there are no errors here, because we're just going to copy them and paste it 3 more times. 1, 2, 3. All right, so this is going to be question 3. And the question is, what is your favorite food? This one will be question 4. This will be, what is your favorite movie genre? This will be question 5. What is your favorite book? Okay, dynamic survey responses, and unlike our previous app, we can have it all the same page. And we're able to do this with the magic of sessions, keeping track of where we are in our session. Not really magic, the technology of sessions. All right, so that's question 5. Now, what we need to do is a end if here, because this is not Python, it is Jinja. And after our end if, we have to have a button. Say button type will be submit. It will say next. Okay. And that's the end of the form. But what we are also going to do is, if we are not on the first question, have a back button too. So we're going to say if session current question is greater than 1, we will create another button, and on click we want to change the window location. So window location is going to be window location href equals some Jinja in here, URL for survey, and I'm going to also want to say current question equals session current question -1. So make sure you have all the tokens here. There should be a double quotation mark for the window, and then inside of here, when we have window location href, there's a single quotation mark. All of this is inside of the single quotation mark. Then we have the Jinja. All that is HTML. Now this is Jinja here. This begins and ends with 2 curly braces. We're using the URL4 function imported, and inside of that we have since we're using a function, there are parentheses. All of this is inside the parentheses. This is survey route, and then comma, and then we change the current question to the session ID -1. Okay, assuming we don't have any errors there, we can do as we did before, end the if, and then we can end the block. Because remember, all of this is inside of the content block, which will be stuck right here inside of this base template. Okay, all right, now that we have that out of the way, now we can create the results template. So again, on template, click here. This will be results HTML. Much of the beginning of this is going to be the same, so I'm going to copy this over to results, except for you're going to change this to survey results question. So the title is going to be survey results, and the question will be changed to results of survey. Okay, our block, the content block content here. Inside of it, I have some ULs and a for loop to loop through all the data that's sent over from the database for response and says we are going to create an li between. We will have response question response dot answer, and there's some brackets here. All right, and that will be the end of the for loop, and that will be the end of the block, the content block specifically. All right, so that is all the templates done. All right, next we're going to whip up some quick styles before we test this. As before, remember here we have styles, so we need to create that in the static directory, styles.css. We're going to create styles for the body. Font family going to be Arial, Helvetica, and sans serif. Background color is going to be F4. The margin is going to be 20 pixels. The padding is going to be 20 pixels. Our H1 is going to be the color of 333. Okay, you have semicolons at the end of all these. And form, it's going to have a background color of white, a padding of 20 pixels, a border radius of 5 pixels, a box shadow of 0, 2 pixels, 5 pixels, RGBA of 0, 0, 0, 0, 1. The input for our text field, input for type text, going to be also our button. Actually, make sure these are the same rotation types. So that's going to be margin on the top, 5 pixels. Then our button, background color of hashtag CA@50. Color of white, padding on the top and the bottom of 10 pixels, left and right of 15 pixels. Border will be none. The border radius will be 5 pixels. The cursor will be pointer, and our hover button have a background color slightly different. It will be hashtag 45A049. UL for unordered list. List style is going to be enough. List style type is going to be done. Padding will be 0. For list item, padding the 8 pixels. Background color, the hashtag FFF, which is white. Border 1 pixel, solid, and D. And our margin on the top will be 5 pixels. Okay. That's pretty much it. Assuming you don't have any errors. I know that it's saying that there's an error here, and we'll see if that causes an issue. Might be an issue, and it says there's an error here, but that shouldn't be an issue. All right, now that we have all that done, clear this and we can Flask run, see if the app runs. Okay, it says no module Flask SQLAlchemy. We know we installed SQLAlchemy earlier. Yeah, requirement already satisfied. Did we spell something wrong in the app? You know what I did? I installed SQLAlchemy instead of Flask SQLAlchemy, which is obvious now here. So let me actually uninstall SQLAlchemy and say yes here. What I want to install is install Flask SQLAlchemy. Okay, once that is finished installed, again, Flask SQLAlchemy, it may take a minute for you. I sped up the video here. Now we can try to clear and run again and see Flask run again and see if we get another error. Okay, this one is saying that I spelled integer wrong. I did spell it wrong here. It's integer. Save this and clear, and then try to do Flask run again. All right, I have another error here, and this one is saying that, oh yes, this should say methods, because there are more than one method here, and actually even if there was just one, you still have to have methods. Okay, we can again save that. A lot of little typos here. Clear, run. Okay, all right, I might have more errors, but at least it's running, and now we can try to run the survey. Close this, and then go to the survey. We got an error. Go back over to the survey here and see what the error. Okay, so this seems to be indicating that there's something wrong with the survey template. I probably do have an error here. Ah, yes, I didn't close the Jinja here. You got to close the beginning of the Jinja templating with curly braces, and I did not do that here. Let's see, save this. That should resolve that one issue. Control C to stop the server, clear, and run it again. And then we can go over, see if the survey loads. And we got another error. Okay, yeah, I have a misspelling here. So let me stop the server, come here, and go over here to the base template. It should say block, save that, clear, and run. Go back over here. Refresh. Another error. You got to be careful about the typos. Okay, so let's see. What is the error here? It seems to be inside of the survey template as well. So this seems to be complaining about the session. So let's go back over to the app and see if we set that up properly. So we do have the session key here. app.config secret key. A very secret key. Down here we have our response route, response class set up. Survey. Have methods of get and post. What I want to do is initialize the session variable. So I'm going to say here f question not in session. I say session current question should be 1. Okay, and we should be getting answer as usual. Okay, let's see if that solves our issue. So clear. Let's run it again. Let's go over here. Refresh. Let's see. Let's say black. I got another error. Okay. Seems that we have an issue with our database now. Okay, so the exact database error that we seem to be getting here is that there's no such table, which means that the table isn't being created. So as we modeled our table as an object right here in our code, and that isn't being created. Down here at the bottom of our code, we have the code where the database is going to be created, but I'm going to stop the server down here. If you scroll up, you'll notice that when the app was started, it was not started in debug mode. Even though we have debug true here, all this is not being executed. This is because this is only being executed if the name equals name, and when you do a Flask run, it's not the main program. It's running it as a module. So we need to run this program directly, and to do that, go back down here and clear, do Python 3 and app py to run it directly, so it's the main program. Okay, we also need to add the with app context here to make sure that this has the db create has the right context. So let's do that. Say with app context. Functions, I need the parentheses, colon, and then tap this over so that it's inside of this context. Save this, clear, and I'm going to run this again directly. Okay, now you can see that debug is on, and it should have also executed the dbcreate command. All right, so let's go back over to the browser and refresh this and see if this resolved this. Okay. All right, so we're over at question 2. It says, what is your favorite hobby? Say cycling. Next. Although the back button isn't showing it properly, so let me go back over to, it goes to question 3, but the back button is showing it properly. So let me go back to here. It does look like the database issue has been resolved because it is saving to the database, but let's go over to here. And this is the code that shows the back button. It is creating the button, but it isn't showing the right information. Oh, you know what? Let me, the word back and save that. Let's see. So that, all right, let's go back to the browser. Well, actually, we need to restart the app. So down here, press Control C, and you can run it directly again, or you can do Flask run. Now that the table is created, you can do a Flask run and it should be fine. So I'm going to do Flask run. So you don't have to run it directly. I'm going to go over here and do a refresh. Favorite food. Okay, the back button is there now. And say it is pizza. See if the back button works properly. Back button isn't working properly, but we are going forward. Okay, so it is changing the URL here, so that is correct in the template, but it's not going back. It's likely not going back because of a issue in our app. So I'm going to go back over here, make some changes to the app.py. Right here, beginning of the function, we are setting the current question to 1. It's not in the session, but what we need to do is make sure we account for this being called when it's a get and not a post. So we're going to change the current question, the session of the current question to equal int of request args get current question session dot get current question 1. Okay, that's what the entire line looks like. 3 parentheses here. This one is for the int function that we're using here. This one is for the inner parentheses for the get args requests function, and this one is for the session.get function. Okay, all right. So with that change, assuming I don't have any typos there, we can remove this, save the app, press Control C to stop the app, blast that run, and then we can go back over to the browser, and because our session is still working, now we refresh and it went back to 3. Okay, all right, so that works, and if we could put in and go back again if we want to, go back to 2 and put in our hobby again, and then favorite food, and put in movie genre is going to be sci-fi, then my favorite book be Dune. So the survey is complete. All right, so all the functionality for the survey seems to be working properly now. Now we just need to check the results page. All right, so the results page is loading, but it's not showing the results. Let's go back to results template, see if there's an issue there. So here, we're going to say for, it seems that we're spelling response wrong here. Let's say RESPONSE. Spell it right here too. RESPONSE. Make sure that this, our spelling responses here, matches up with how we're spelling it in the app, because that's where it's getting this list. So down here, results, the results route, and there's a misspelling here in the route as well. All right, so this should be RS. And this should be RS. Responses. Okay. RESPONSES. Okay. Make sure it's spelled right throughout the document. Actually, let me go up here. Yeah, spell it right here either. This is less of an issue. We know that the survey is working, but just make sure it's spelled right. Response. All right, save the app so that make sure that's spelled properly here. We go over to results, make sure everything is spelled properly here. Response, for response and responses, response.question, response. Save that, stop the app, and Control C, Flask run, and then we can go back over to the results page and finish. Okay, and then we got the results. For 1, we got black, 2, cycling, 3, pizza, and if you remember, we went back to 2. So to put in cycling again, pizza, sci-fi, and Dune for question 5. Okay. I think we are pretty much done, except for one thing. So when we try to do the survey again, it goes back to question 5. Now that is because we didn't tell our app to clear the session cache so that it will reset the survey. Now, if I were to close the browser, it would start back at question 1. So if I close the browser here and I go back here and I run another browser, go to the survey, it would start at 1 because the browser's closed, the session is closed. But what we want to do is when we put in things like when we get to the end of the survey, we want it to reset so that you get question 1 again. So putting in sushi here and putting in horror word 4 and Alice in Wonderland for number 5. Okay, and our results page should be updated with those new additions, but when we go back to the survey, we should be able to put in another set of answers. So to do that, go back over to our app, and we need to make an addition to the survey route. So in the survey route right here on line 31 is where we check to see if we're equal to or greater than 5. So before we return the complete page, what I want to do is pop off session. So say session.top, and the current question is going to be none, which will get rid of the session after the 5th question is answered. So save that, some typos again, Control C, and run again, jump back over to the browser, and I'm going to refresh. Put in the last question again, Moby Dick, and then next. All right, so now let's go back to the survey, see if it goes back to 1. Yeah, let's see, it goes back to 1. And if you go to results, you have Moby Dick as the last question, then it lets you go back to 1 for the first question again, okay? So that is pretty much it for this one. We'll see you in the next one.